Greetings. My name is Tiffany Turner Allen, and today I share these words with a heart that is heavy and a mind that is full and yet hopeful. I make this statement as the Executive Director of nonprofit Prince George's County, but these words come from my heart as a Black woman. Mother to a Black son, wife to a Black man, daughter to Black parents, sister, cousin, friend, to so many more. The events of recent days have not been caused by one event, but rather years of a broken system abusing and oppressing people of color, the very people that it was never designed to work for or protect. For so many of us, witnessing the murder of George Floyd was the tipping point. Our communities, the nation, and the world is watching as racial unrest has reached a fever pitch and unfolds. In the midst of living through a global pandemic, this country is now grappling with the violent and unnecessary deaths of Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and so many others. We are being forced to face the untethered truth that due to our unaddressed painful past, we are now here, in this moment, living in this current reality. The truth is, Black bodies have been brutalized and commodified since the colonization of this country. While the survivors in Black communities have been forced to bear witness and watch these atrocities in horror, most have been living with this ongoing trauma for generations. The peaceful protests and harsh uprisings are two sides of the same coin. People in communities across this country are struggling and reconciling daily with the fear of unknown consequences for simply being, and the unprocessed pain that we carry with that. I knew that a statement should be made, but when and how was the question that I asked myself. My words are deliberate and intentional. They are not hollow, simply to fill space because it sounds good or it's the right thing for right now. I share these words as my very breath in both written and verbal form. I use my breath, the same breath that has been taken from the bodies of so many Black people, not just on this land, but across the globe. Many of them using their very last to utter, "I can't breathe." While it is important to make this point in word, it is equally as important to show it in action. The days of turning a blind eye to racial injustices, both subtle and overt, are behind us. This is also a time for internal reflection for all people, organizations, nonprofits, corporations, institutions, and government agencies. Ask the question to yourself and others, what can you do? What will you do? It starts with listening to learn. So not as a reaction of, but rather in response to this heightened alert and call to action, nonprofit Prince George's County is rolling out 5 new initiatives. If you're interested in supporting one of our new initiatives, we welcome your participation. Please go to our website to learn more. To those that wish to be effective allies, stand with us today and tomorrow. Stand when the smoke clears in the cities and while the fire still burns inside of us. Stand with us when it is common and uncommon, when it is comfortable, and even more when it's uncomfortable. Stand when you are popular and when your standing makes you an outcast. Stand for those of us that you know and those that you don't. More importantly, stand when you have nothing to gain and something to lose, because so many people have lost the ultimate, and that being their lives. Black people have paid the price for generations with our lives because very few have been willing to stand against racial injustice, hatred, and for achieving racial equity across systems, not just in law enforcement, but all systems, including criminal justice, education, healthcare, agriculture, housing, and more. So now, addressing, dismantling, reimagining, and rebuilding these institutions that have systemic racial inequities built into their very foundations is a necessity. Black and brown people have been systemically underserved, overserved, inadequately served, and unserved by all of our systems. To change this, we must have active participation and not a simple passive approach. So let this moment for some become a movement for many. I stand because this is who I am. I stand because I must. I stand on the shoulders of many. We ask that you stand because you can. We ask that you stand how you can. I leave you in collective space and movement making. Thank you.
It was Freddie, Sam, Corey, Eric, Philando, Ahmad, Steven, Kenneth, Amadou, Jonathan, Christian, Terrace, Sean. Killed him a day before his wedding. Jamal killed him while he was in handcuffs. Mike killed him while he had his hands up. Kamani, Ramali, Phillip, Alton, about 3 Kevins, about 2 Jordans. John, Laquan, Bathon, Stefan, Tony, Tamir, Elijah, Antoine, Izelle, Terrell, Dontre, Akai, George. For him, set the country on fire. Timothy, Patrick, Paul, Tyree, Quintonio, Darius, Jeremy, William, Anthony, Dante, Oscar, Kendrick, Keith, David, Walter, women like Sandra, Betty, Rihanna, India, Michelle, Tatiana, Tanisha, Rika, Natasha, Pamela, Janet, Megan, baby Ayana. All that we lost, your name live on. Wasn't killed by a cop, but I can't forget Trayvon. Can't forget Emmett, and all of those we lost to the beast. No justice, no peace. No.